welcome to the Nexus. We're doing issue 5 of our Dalek build. Let's open it up. Like normal, I'd be doing this every single week as long as it comes out in the newsagents every week. Sometimes it can be a little bit of hit and miss, but I do tend to get it within the week. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to go through the magazine. We always go through the magazine fully first because it's worth just going through. We are going to get just having a quick look. We will need to bring over the dome because we're fitting another panel, and we do need our test board and battery pack because we're going to be testing a new light as well. So let's take a look, but before then we're going to do some shout outs. Okay, so every week I'll be doing shout outs from the comment section of the previous video. So in this case, if you put a comment down on issue 4 video, I will shout it out. And if you want me to ask any questions or ask me anything, let us know in the comments and I will do a shout out video before we start doing the build. Okay, so the first one was from someone called Barney Rubble. Love it. He's put lights indicators of which Dalek is speaking. Yeah, so when they originally done the Daleks, I think they were the original design maybe was to have it as a complete dome, and then they were like, how do we know who's speaking? So they put the energy dampeners, is what they're called, on there, so when they talk they light up and you could identify which Dalek was talking, and I think that's one of the reasons why they light up like they do. Then we come on to Richard Cope. Very informative, enjoy the build so I know how mine will look. Yep. So if you don't know how Hachette normally operate, they have done on occasion where subscribers are ahead of newsagents, but normally the norm for their builds is that newsagents are ahead of subscribers. Now we've got issue 5. Subscribers will get issues 3, 4, 5 and 6, and you normally subscribers will get it just before issue 6 hits the newsagents. So newsagents get it every Wednesday, so effectively subscribers should receive it a couple of days before, so you will be sort of a couple of days ahead of one issue. Also as well, there's discrepancy as well around stuff. So when there's a bank holiday, it delays it. And when there's like around Christmas time as well, where in newsagents, it's normally, fingers crossed, it's pretty consistent. And also as well, there's also a bit of a consistency around dates, like when you have 5 weeks and stuff like that. And that also sort of creates a problem for the subscribers over newsagents because we're just regular every Wednesday. Anyway, thank you too for your comment. Scott Duggan, hello Scott. A long time subscriber to the channel. Amazing build so far. I still think it's easier contender for the build of the year already. Yeah, definitely, it looks amazing. Though the part count is going to drop off, we know that, and I'll discuss that as well. It's definitely a contender, 100%. Mr. Fusion Designs, another great member of the channel. Enjoy the video, Kev. Well done. Thank you so much. Space Junk 55 looks great, mate. I hope this is going to be released in Australia. I have too many orders through Ian. It is going to be available through Australia. They announced a couple of weeks ago that you will be able to get this in Australia. I think it's already on the website. So if you click on the website, it will ask you what country you're in, and the drop down menu is now UK, USA and Australia. So if you're over in the land down under, you'll be able to start your subscription, which is absolutely brilliant. Dan Crime, is that? Sorry if I'm butchering these names. This is going to be fantastic. Great to feel like forever waiting for each issue, but it's going to be worth it. 100% going to be worth it. Yeah, we do build this over time. Yes, there's the money thing, but this is my hobby. Some people have extra money for coffee, and I don't drink coffee, and cigarettes, I don't smoke. So this is what I spend that extra money on, and I'm justified in doing that. Steve1315, look group, Mr. Nexus, nice hat. Thank you. Haven't got the hat today. Nope. I should put one on really. Steve Jones, great build, Kev. Thank you very much. Who fan 23. Looking at the parts makes it seem more complicated than it actually is. So far, it's cool and simple build. Most of these builds are supposed to be simple. But if you build them long enough, you know full well that they're not. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that there, really. Jimbo James. Oh, I love this. I love the name. Great video. Thanks. A friend. Oh, hang on a second. That's just disappeared. I don't know why. A friend of mine who builds a lot of these types of models suggests I should use cog grease applied with a cotton bud around any plastic cogs to stop them from sticking and grinding together, which I know from experience they do after a while, especially given the time these take to build. What do you use something similar? I don't, and that is because it's personal preference on that. So a lot of people use grease and stuff to screw in the screws. It makes it a lot easier. And some people just whack any sort of grease on, or 3-in-1 oil or something like that onto the plastic parts for the gearing and stuff like that. I've never used any of that, and I've never had any problems with any of my builds working with gearing and stuff like that without doing that. And I've never had any problems with screwing in screws without any grease or anything like that. So it's personal preference. If you want to go ahead and do that, you can indeed. But I don't tend to do that. Also as well, some of these parts are going to be quite hidden, and you wouldn't want the grease to be left for a long time and clog up itself, because grease can actually clog as well, especially if it's something that's not been used for a while. So it's worth taking into a vice, that sort of stuff as well. But like I said, it's personal preference on that. Thank you for your comment. Their reference to common as dome lights, however, there's quite a bit of mystery over their function. Often used main as a sign of the Dalek speaking, which we said right at the start. There are some talk of them being translators. Yeah, I mean, it says energy dampeners. I think you're more than right. I think they're more of a. I think they're originally designed for it, so we knew who was talking. So when they done the voices, we weren't going, which one of the 4 Daleks here are talking. We knew by the lights lighting up. But also as well, I think that's kind of true as well. And I think they're used as like a translator maybe, or something like that. So yeah, definitely on that. Bobby Bites. In the Dalek move, there was a red, yellow, black Dalek. There was indeed. Shane Frashley, I think that is, sorry mate. Can you put a camera in the eye socket so you can see some of the Dalek? That's a mod, and you're more than welcome to try that. I would probably say you could. There's enough sort of mechanism stuff there for you to actually do that. So I think you could do that easily. Dave McBuilds, another great follower of the channel. Hi Dave, great work Kev. Looking really the part with this socket inside the dome. Any idea what kind of batteries it will take? No idea whatsoever. I'd be very, very, very surprised if it is like AA's and AAA's. It's not going to be. It's either going to be specialized batteries like we had in R2D2, or it's going to be something like the C batteries or D batteries, or it's going to be something like that. And we just don't know at this point. But it's definitely not going to be that power pack that we got to do the testing. That is for sure. Richard's VC5 JPEG. Voice indicators for the lights, yep. Andrew Cuts, watch out for the grifters on the rear of the issue. First headlamp. Also, I think the wires, I think he's talking about there. Also, was anyone else a bit scared to get into the scratched up to get into the plastic bag? No, it was kind of fine actually. It was all right. Another one here, I can't pronounce that, sorry. How heavy is the head going to be? Awesome job, bud. Heavy. The outer panels, once all the outer panels are on, then we've got all the mechanisms and stuff inside. It's going to be quite heavy, I think, very heavy. It's going to be interesting how it's going to turn and what sort of like cogs they're going to use and stuff like that. It's going to be really interesting. Daniel Silverwind. I was tempted to get this, but apart from the overall cost, the one thing that drives me mad is the magazine. Why, oh why, do we have to have the stuff they print? Just give me the model and the instructions and let me build it. Okay, but tips, suggestions for new builders, but not the drive stuff they seem to print. I've bought series from Star Trek, Star Wars and other things, and that the magazines went slightly in the bin, and perhaps if they didn't print this, the actual model would be cheaper. No. If you've watched my channel, I've covered this many times. And I will tell you now, this magazine, it's good. It's got lots of reference in it. It gives us something to read. But if they'd done away with the magazines, which they have done in a lot of companies, Agora and Fan Home, and they have actually at Hachette as well. So in some cases, they do these as a digital version. Does it change the price of the build? No, it doesn't. And the reason is because this magazine probably costs them about 20p to make. It's nothing. In fact, this bit is free. The parts we're paying, that's the price. This is just basically, like you're saying, it is just for the instructions. If they just done the instructions online, I think some people struggle to access them online, and updating them is a bit of a nightmare for them. So it's easier to print it like this. But in order to do this, I think they have to justify in order to give us a magazine, which is why they give us lots of stuff. I don't mind the stuff in some of these magazines. It's okay. A lot of the magazines I do tend to just chuck away at the end of the build. But yeah, this cost the company pence, literally pence. So it wouldn't make the build any cheaper whatsoever. And we've covered this many times. Like I said, a lot of the companies now are doing away with the magazines and going for digital ones, and it doesn't change the price at all. You pay the same price whether you get a physical magazine or a digital one. Thank you for your comment. Barry Palmer, Remembrance of the Daleks was 80s, not the 60s. I think it was in the 80s, and we'll have a look at this in a minute. But I think the episode was based in the 60s. It was made in the 80s, but time travel and everything. And I think that's what it was getting at. Dylan Pine, I'm still not even received issue 1. I ordered it a month ago. Yeah, just keep an eye on your portal. And they send them out in batches. So it depends on when that batch date is that they send out. So just keep an eye out. And if it's processed on your online account, I think you have to give it 28 days for it to arrive. And if it hasn't arrived within that time, you can then order a replacement part from them. Swamp Master, great name. I need to get rid of the border around the edge of the screen. Very distracting. Plus, you'll be able to zoom in a little bit more. Just my opinion. Yeah, I have a border up, and I put it up just to differentiate myself away from other channels. So it's a little bit different. It's not for everyone, but I like it. And it is there just for the authentic or the aesthetics of the channel. It's just something that I like doing. Anyway, I've all rabbited it on for a long time now. Come on, let's get issue 5 done. So let's do issue 5. Okay, so first things first, we're going to have a look at the magazine. Once again, we get this really nice sort of poster style right at the very front. I mean, I think at the end of this build, you could probably cut these all out. You could have a poster like so many. Well, how many issues is there? 150, 160 issues? I can't remember. It says it down here somewhere. Anyway, it looks like we're going to get sort of these core posters in the front. Obviously, that's a special weapons Dalek there, which we're going to find out. The Dalek Civil War. So this goes into the Civil War of the Daleks. They've always been some sort of conflict between them. And this one here, so this is the Remembrance of the Daleks, part 2. Now, in the last video, in the last magazine, it said we go back to the 60s. And the episode is in 1960s London, but the episode actually came out in 1988. And a lot of people were, I think, a bit confused because of that. So this, once again, we're going through the whole episode. Near enough word for word, really. We get this little cool little back, behind the scenes bit as well. And as you can see, it effectively goes through the whole episode just there. Then we come on to the anatomy of the Dalek. So this is the special weapons Dalek just here. I think they should reintroduce this Dalek, you know. I know they've had ones with like Gatling gun and stuff like that. It's already covered in the book. But I thought it was it's like a tank, isn't it? It's like a tank version of the Dalek there. And that's what we're doing today. So we get the indicator in the other panel. And we're going to screw it on. So that's what we're going to do. So, okay, so we've got the head. And we've got that. We've got our Hachette screwdriver, which is nice. Let's open this up. We'll put all these aside a second. Like that. So you can see what comes out. Just like that. So we've got a bag here. So what's in this? Oh, we have the light. Yeah, be very careful with any electrical parts. And the wires on the back of here have been known to be a little bit loose. We'll get some AM screws. And I think this is the dome. Just here. That's going to go over there. And we're going to test this. So let me test this first. So we've got the board here. We've got the it's going to go into this little slot just here. We need to make sure it goes in the right way. Yeah. So it clicks in, and then we're going to turn this on, and it flashes. Can you see that? Hang on, let me turn the light off. And this one. There we go. So that works. Brilliant. So we now need to be very careful and pull it by the plastic section. And it is still going off. Let me turn this off. Do you know what? I might leave it like that because we don't actually do anything else with it at the minute. And I don't want to... Wait, there we go. I'm always really cautious about pulling stuff out because it's quite stiff in there. Okay, so that needs to be put aside. We need to grab our head, which is just here, and we're going to be putting on that panel there. So this is our die cast panel, and that is going to sit just there like that. And obviously that will then sort of pull over, and we're going to block it in like that, and that's it, like that. Okay, so that's all chimed in. So what we're going to do is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 screws there to go in, and they have to be really tight as you can get them, really, up against it. So we're going to do this bottom one first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the other 3. Okay, so there we go. That is all done. Just like that. Now, there is a hard bit. And that screw just there, which is it's quite difficult to get to. You have to sort of get it like that. And as you can see, there is not a lot of manoeuvre there to get that in. But that's the best way of doing it. And this one as well. The other 2, which are down here, going perfect. There's not an issue with that one. And I'm going to screw this one up a little bit more. There we go. That looks like it weren't screwed in properly. Okay, so that is what it looks like. Hang on a second. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now, a lot of people are asking about this seam. I don't know whether they're going to apply or something will get pushed into this seam at some point. I don't know. Though I have gone ahead and looked at the original Dalek, which this is based on. And actually, you can see the seams, and they are like that. I think it's a sort of a Mandela effect, I would say. And you can definitely see it on here as well. there are panel lines, and they are visible panel lines. And I think because we've had like action figures and we've seen other ones, and these have all been pushed right up, so it doesn't look like there's a big panel line, but actually there is a big panel line there. And you can actually, on the original one, you can see the big panel lines. The only difference is I think they are sort of sealed, but they are definitely present, and you can definitely see them on the original model of this. So don't worry too much. And that is exactly how it's supposed to look and when it comes up. Like I said, make sure when you do screw these, you screw the screws up as tight as you can. If they're loose or they're not as tight, then this panel won't sit properly, and this gap may be a little bit bigger than what it is. But as you can see, it does roll round. But that is pretty accurate. I mean, if we see it like that. But I don't know whether they will put a plastic trim in there or whatever, or whether that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But like I said, when I went online and looked at some reference photos, because I see a lot of people saying there's big seams, the original version actually has these big panel lines. So I'd worth going and check them out actually at the original prop, not the ones that are made by fans or the custom built ones, the original, because this is going to be based on the original Dalek that was on the 2005 episode. And actually you can see there's some pictures, because some of the stuff, especially the dome, was sold at auction, so we get some really good photos and close-ups actually of the dome, and they are very present. I've got to say, the panels are very, very present on the top of the Dalek. And because we've seen artists and other versions, also as well, all these Daleks are handmade for the show, so every single version is slightly different than any other. So they're all sort of unique, which is brilliant, because they should be, because that is a Dalek thing. So they're a little bit individual. Every single Dalek's ever been built for the BBC has always been slightly different. None of them have been completely the same. But yeah, I'm quite happy with them, actually. I know some people won't be, and I'm pretty sure you probably be able to get some filler in there and then colour match the same thing and then fill it. But I wouldn't do anything just yet, not until we've fully completed the build, because that could be something that comes at the very last issue. So always remember that. But there you go. Anyway, that's where we are. So you want to put the light away somewhere safe until next time. You want to put the light away somewhere safe. And the head. But that is it. There we go. So here is the Dalek. There's the panel. Like I said, it's quite, like, if I go up close, you can see it, right? But the further I get away, you can't see it. And the panel line sort of disappears as soon as you get away from it. And it looks screen accurate to me. That is exactly how it was. But I think when you're close up, even on the original prop, now I did see it at Cardiff, and they do have these big panel lines on them. But obviously I don't think you're ever that close to the Dalek to actually see it. You're never like this looking, or like this I should say. You're at this point, and then the camera, as you can see, it doesn't look so bad further away. It looks like it should. Anyway, yeah, always make sure these are fully put on. Someone was asking, obviously, in the comments how heavy this is going to be. So all the panels at the moment, so this one, this one, this one, this one, are all die cast. So there's going to be a bit of weight to this. Obviously, we're going to have another panel here, a panel at the back, two panels at the side, and then a top panel here, all die cast, plus all the guts and workings that have got to go in there. So all the all the sort of the motors and all of that sort of stuff's got to fit in here. So with all of that as well, this is going to have some serious weight into it, but it's still a good hat. It's still there, which is good. We can still wear it as a hat, though it is now very front heavy because the eye stalk, like that. But yeah, absolutely perfect. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. I will read out the comments to this video at the next one. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next video. But until then, we'll catch you later. See you then.
Tune into the channel, Nexus is the name. All the hardest content, you'll never be the same. Laughs and thrills, excitement,